you've stuck by a lot of managers over recent years. And, a club that's in a bit of turmoil at the moment is Tottenham with Ange Postecoglou. Had a really good start to the season, but been quite frustrating, losing four on the bounce. Should Spurs stick with Ange for the long term and back him more than they backed the likes of Conte and Mourinho? Is this the manager that needs to be? I heard Gary Neville say and Roy Keane, give this guy a chance. He can bring success to Spurs. Do you reckon it's time for Spurs fans to be a bit patient compared to maybe other fans, say like Chelsea, who are not with their managers?
I mean, I was driving back from Wembley and I had talkSPORT on, and I could. There was people phoning up saying Ange out, and I know that happens, and but that to me, when you're talking about Pochettino at Chelsea or Ten Hag at Man United, I can get it, I understand it, but Ange out from Spurs fans, I was like, is this Arsenal fans having a laugh? Like, I find it absolutely incredible. I can't even believe it's being discussed. I mean, is this the danger in football fandom now that patience is becoming less and less? Is this the TikTok sort of generation of instant gratification? People aren't watching films anymore because they're too long, and people don't want to give managers at least a year anymore. I mean, I look at Spurs and I said at the start of the season, I don't put them in the top 8 because Harry Kane had gone. I knew nothing about Ange, and I was like, they're Spurs. And I think there's 8 teams better than them. So for them to be 5th, yes, I think they should have pushed Villa for 4th, I do. But fifth place is still really good for a first season for Ange when you take everything into account. I also think that at the start of the season, people were talking about him being manager of the year. They were talking about title race. I think the January Asia Cup and the AFCON and the Maddison injury, none of those players have really played as well as they did before that. There's still a lot of work to do at Spurs, but I think it's a really good first season. I think if I was a Spurs fan, I'd go, I've seen enough there from Ange to go, next season's going to be really interesting. And that's where we judge him, because he'll go one way or the other. To be talking about sacking him or he's not the guy, I absolutely am baffled. And normally I'd leave it to the fans of the club and say you're right, but I really think they're wrong. I mean, you're playing a brand of football that you've been crying out for years, and you're heading in the right direction. This summer's big, and then next season's big. And that's the time where you start going, was it a one-season wonder, or is he a guy that can take him to the next level?
And the Euros, you're touting England to have a good tournament. But, with the likes of Harry Kane and Jude Bellingham, hoping to have big tournaments, who does that win mean more to? Does it mean more to the likes of Harry Kane, who is trying to end a trophy drought, or maybe a Jude Bellingham who's looking to be the next big name over the, couple of decades? He's looking to win Ballon d'Ors and dominate Europe. Who does it really mean more for?
I think it definitely is Harry Kane, because he's older. He's not really won anything. He'll be the captain of the team. England haven't won anything since '66. So Harry Kane lifting the Euros, you go down beyond his own career. He'll go down, it's not a World Cup like Bobby Moore at Wembley, but it's still very, very rare for England to do it. So I think Harry Kane, as the goal scoring focal point of that team, it puts you into that legendary status for the rest of your life. I think Jude Bellingham's on a different journey. By the time England win the Euros, and I think we will, I think we have to, I think we're the best, and I think we should, Jude Bellingham could be on a different plane to Kane in relation to his own career. He's so young. If Real Madrid win the Champions League, he could be looking at a Ballon d'Or, a Euros for England, a Champions League for Real Madrid. It's you're on a sort of Mbappe, Neymar, Zidane sort of journey as an individual. Whereas I think for Harry Kane, fantastic world-class striker, but it's about, the legacy of being that England captain and goal scorer and winning the Euros. So for Bellingham, I think his journey is going to be very much about how good a player he is. Whereas I think for Harry Kane, and he's so young, whereas for Harry Kane, this would be sort of like winning a trophy and symbolic to his legacy, really.
And going back to the Palace United game, a big talking point was Adam Warton and his potential of maybe beating a few as the wild card to get on the plane to go to Euro 2024. Do you think it's sort of him against Kobe Mainoo as that extra player, the sort of, the Theo Walcott of years gone by, who wouldn't usually go, but they're talking themselves into the conversation?
I'll tell you what, I've been very impressed with Warton at Crystal Palace for a number of weeks now, and he looks exceptional. And I think, again, it's so exciting how many talented players we've got coming through for England and already have. Obviously, you know my opinions on Gareth Southgate. I think he'll probably take Rashford, and you know, if Anthony Gordon doesn't go and Rashford does go, it's not fair. It's simply not fair. And I think with Warton and Mayu, it's a bit different. Mainu's had a breakthrough season. He's been fantastic. He's playing he's playing as a holding midfielder with people like Eriksen and Mount ahead of him who just aren't fit. And he's only just turned 19. So there are mitigating circumstances there. He's had to take on a lot of responsibility and pressure. And I think he will go with Mayu. But it probably should be closer. I think the reason it will be Mayu is because Southgate goes with what he knows. He called him up in the international break in March. He's never called Warton up. I don't think Southgate is the sort of guy that just throws somebody in new right in the tournament. Now, whether that's right or wrong, that's the debate, isn't it? But I think it will be Mayu if he's going to take one of those two, just based on the fact that he's had him in the squad. And Southgate's very big on, you know, who he knows and who he likes. As we'll probably see Jordan Henderson go into the Euros, which for me is laughable over Ward-Prowse. So, yeah, I think in this case it will be Mayu.
And the Championship playoffs start soon with Leeds United, West Brom, Southampton and Norwich all vying to get back to the Premier League. And as a Man United fan, we have to talk about Leeds. They've already, Ipswich were making fun of them at the weekend, saying Leeds are falling apart. As a Man United fan, do you want them back in the Premier League for that rivalry, or do you just want them to rot in the Championship for many more years to come?
Yeah, it's funny rivalry, isn't it? Because I saw a lot of Villa fans sort of revelling in the fact that the Birmingham had been relegated down to League One, and obviously Villa are in the Premier League, so they're 2 leagues apart. And I think you come at it from 2 ways as a rivalry. I would never want Liverpool to get relegated because I enjoy the drama and tension of playing them twice a season. Well, 3. We knocked them out of the cup, didn't we? But it's the same with Leeds. Leeds, I would rather they were in the Premier League because I'd look forward to that, especially that Ellen Road game. It's like it's a rivalry, and people have a different approach to it. Either they want them to do really bad and never play them, or it's like, I don't want to lose to them, but I do want to play them twice a season. So I would like to see Leeds promoted because it's a tougher 2 fixtures for United, but there is something on it, and I always prefer the big games where there's something in it. The problem with Leeds is it's that old playoff curse, isn't it? They probably deserve to come up across the season, but the playoffs are there, and their momentum's gone. And I think the momentum is probably more with Southampton than it is with Leeds. So I think Southampton are probably my favourites to go through. I mean, we might get a shock with a West Brom or a Norwich. You never know. But yeah, Leeds have got that typical playoff curse where across the season they've been better, but they've just ran out of form and energy at the end.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.